Alrighty guys, on this video we're explaining specifically the order of operations when we are evaluating variable expressions. Okay, when we're evaluating. This is technically video 2. It'll go by quickly because there's only a couple of questions to cover here. So let's begin. Number 13, we need to evaluate the variable expression. Now, what does that actually mean? That means that we're going to take these values and we're going to plug them in. So I highly recommend for everybody to, whenever you plug in values, rewrite what you have, rewrite this fraction, and rewrite 2c squared, but notice instead of the c, I put parentheses, okay? Minus a times b. Instead of a and b, I put parentheses, and it's all divided by 2. So just to make it a little more visual, the c value on doing yellow, the a value on doing blue, and the b value on doing red. So I am plugging in the b value of 2 right here. I want to plug in the a value of 8 right here, and I'm going to plug in the c value of 4 right there. And now we're going to do this math. So yes, we are going to use PEMDAS, right? The correct order of operations. Now keep in mind, whenever you have a fraction, simplify the top using PEMDAS, simplify the bottom, and then at the very end, worry about dividing or reducing that fraction, okay? So let's say I did have a bunch of work down here, like 5 times 3 to the second power, I don't know. You would ignore that and do this, and then you would do this, and then at the very end, try to reduce or cancel. So I am going to ignore the division part. I want to ignore the bottom part and just focus in up on the top. Do I have parentheses? Yes, I do. There's nothing to do inside of that. There's nothing to do inside of that or that. Okay, so move on to e exponents. Do I have exponents? Yes, I do. 4 squared. And 4 squared really is 16. So instead of this, let me actually zoom in a bit. Instead of this 4 squared, I'm going to write 16. So what do I have here? I have 2 times 16. You could put in parentheses, or you could put a dot right there to remind you that you're multiplying. And then we also have minus 8 in parentheses times 2 in parentheses, okay? So I have done exponents. Is there any multiplication or division? There's definitely multiplication on the top. The division, we're going to wait till the very end to look at the fraction. So right here, we do have multiplication and multiplication. We could actually do both if we want, from left to right. I'm going to do the 2 times 16, that's 32. And I'm also going to do the 8 times 2, that's 16. And there is a minus sign in between them. So 32 take away 16, if you think about that, 32 take away 16 is 16. Now, this is the answer to the top. So we have 16 up here. And then if I had some work to do on the bottom, I would do that work and then write my answer down here. But there is no work to do. That's simply a divided by 2. And we should all know that 16 over 2, 16 divided by 2, the final answer is 8. So type in 8, hit enter. You will get full credit on this question. Let's move on. We have another evaluate the variable expression problem where they give you values, and what do? We simply plug them in. What do I recommend? Rewrite the whole thing, but instead of letters, put parentheses. So instead of a, put parentheses, minus c squared, minus parentheses squared, plus b, plus parentheses, okay? And now just plug in your a value of 6 right in there, because your a value belonged right there, 6. The b value of 8, plug it in right there. Your b value is 8. And your c value of 4, plug it in right there, 4. So now that you've plugged them in, you go through your order of operations. Are there any parentheses? Yes, but there's nothing to do inside those parentheses. Move on to e exponents. Are there any exponents? Absolutely. We have 4 squared right there. And notice that the negative sign is not on the inside of the parentheses, it's on the outside, so I don't include it. This is really a 4 squared, which is really 4 times 4, okay, which you could actually do. What is 4 times 4? That's 16. So what do I really have? I have the 6. I don't really need the parentheses. I do have a minus sign, and I have plus 8, and I don't really need the parentheses. Again, the only reason I say I don't really need the parentheses is because of the plus sign. If I had a number out here in front, yeah, I'd be multiplying, so it'd be good to leave the parentheses or put a dot. But anyways, I don't really need those parentheses. I just drop it. All I have now is addition and subtraction. from left to right. 6 take away 16. I have $6. I owe $16. I can't pay him off. I could give him the 6, but I'll still owe $10. And then I bring down the plus 8. So I owe somebody $10, but I have $8 in my pocket. Could I completely pay him off? The answer is no. I could give him the $8 and I'll still owe $2. So if you type in -2, hit enter, you will get full credit for this question. Let's move on to the last one. A final one on evaluating the variable expression where they give you the A, the B, and the C. Again, I highly recommend, please do this, rewrite the whole thing exactly the way it is, but instead of letters, put parentheses. Instead of 2A, put 2 parentheses. Instead of plus 4B, put plus 4 parentheses. Instead of minus C squared, put minus parentheses squared. And then you could plug in your A, your B, and your C value, okay? So I'm gonna look at this A value. The A value is 6. That means the 6 belongs right in there, 6 right there. And then we have the B value with the 4, the B value, which is 2. Plug in the 2 right there. So that's going to be a 2 right there. And lastly, we have the C value of 4. C is right there, so the 4 goes right in there. So 4 goes right in there. So we look at the correct order of operations. Are there any parentheses? Yes, there are, but there's nothing to do. That's just a 6. It doesn't have a 6 plus 1. There's nothing to do in there. There's nothing to do in there, and there's nothing to do in there on the inside of the parentheses. Moving on to E exponents. Are there any exponents? Yes, we do have a 4 squared. 4 squared. What is 4 squared? That's really 4 times 4. So what is 4 times 4? It's really 16. Do that, rewrite everything else. We have a 2 times 6 plus 4 times 2, and we have a minus 16 right there. Now what do we have? We have multiplication, we have addition, multiplication, and subtraction. Obviously, we're going to multiply before adding or subtracting. So let's go to the multiplication. Let's do the 2 times 6, and let's also do the 4 times 2. So 2 times 6 is 12. 4 times 2 is 8, and of course there's a plus sign right between them. So 12 plus 8 minus 16. That's the final 3 numbers we need to combine with adding and subtracting. And adding and subtracting, let's just go from left to right. 12 plus 8, 12 plus 8 is 20, and 20 minus 16 is 4. So the final answer is 4, as you can see right here. Type in 4, hit enter, that will be correct. I hope this helps. Good luck on the test or on the quiz.